It's a reasonable discussion to have, whether it's about term limits or mental competency tests. And remember, we're talking about 81-year-old Mitch McConnell was hospitalized this week for a concussion, 81-year-old Bernie Sanders, 89-year-olds Chuck Grassley and Dianne Feinstein, who's home from the hospital after being recently treated for shingles. These are the same people who are, for example, currently deciding whether TikTok should be banned in the United States. Do most of them even know what TikTok is? Look, maybe Chuck Grassley and Dianne Feinstein are obsessive 24/7 TikTokers. I don't know. But is it really fair for these octogenarians to make a decision that could effectively eradicate the number one pastime and even livelihoods for millions of young Americans? And I say that as someone who has long believed we need to do something about Chinese-owned TikTok. Now, it's true. The voters knew how old they were when they cast their ballots. But think about this. Article 1, Section 3, Clause 3 of the U.S. Constitution. No person shall be senator who shall not have attained the age of 30 years. Isn't that reverse ageism? 30 seems like a pretty arbitrary number. The framers of the Constitution seem to believe someone who's 28 or 29 isn't qualified, but I would sure put a lot of 29-year-olds in the position over 89-year-olds. According to Forbes, there were 5 billionaires in the United States under 30 last year. They seem to have been pretty well prepared for business in their 20s. We have doctors, engineers, tech moguls, high-powered attorneys, all under 30. So I guess my point is just, is it really unfair to suggest there should be a maximum age to serve when there's a nationally accepted minimum age, which is well above the age of adulthood? Joining us now is Barbara Boxer, former United States Senator from California, who served 4 terms, retired, I believe, in her late 70s or so, somewhere in that range. Thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it. All right. So what do you make of these suggestions, either with regard to competency tests, term limits, et cetera?
Yeah, I think there are nutty people who are 25, 30, 40. I was looking it up. Marjorie Taylor Greene said that there are Jewish lasers. She said, she's a congresswoman. She said Ruth Bader Ginsburg was replaced with a body double before her death in 2020. And now she's saying that Walmart is grooming our young children with sex toys. She's nutty. She's 48. So obviously, my feeling is it is up to the individual. And to just sweep everybody up into this thing is wrong. I honestly think it's wrong.
What about competency tests for an age, right? Pick the age, 80, 85, 90, whatever it is. Also something you disagree with?
Give it to everybody. You want to do that? Because as I say, there are people who are out of their minds who are there now and who are dangerous, who are there now. And so I just think picking on people because their age is absolutely wrong. Let me give you a case in point. Nancy Pelosi, right? She is considered by many, I don't know about you, Dan, you have your own views, but she's considered to be the greatest speaker of all times. And she was in her 80s, and she's still there. She's not the speaker. She stepped down. I will tell you this, if you had a younger person who didn't have her experience going up against someone who's so strong and is got a whole following in the country like Donald Trump, she knew how to handle it. So again, to me, and I know I'm of a certain age, and you probably would expect me perhaps to believe this, but it is up to the person. Some people age gracefully, some people don't. Some people are never graceful. It's ridiculous. Let the voters decide. And by the way, Nikki Haley makes the point, that there should be term limits. There's a term limit on every one of us who was in public life. We have to face the voters every 2 years, and I was in the House for 10. I had to face the voters, every 6 years. In the Senate, I was there for 4 terms. I was there a long time. And when I stepped away, I specifically said it had nothing to do with my age or the fact that I didn't have energy. I'm still very perky and still working. I stepped away because I felt I'd done it long enough. Yeah. And that's up to the individual. Last point, when people are faced with options in an election, age is a factor. They may think one candidate's a bit on the old side. They may think one's a bit on the young side. So you got to kind of look at it like, what are the pros and cons of each person? And to just say blanket, people reach a certain age, bye-bye, or take some test, it's so disrespectful, I think. That's my view.
And thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.